this important aspect. Earlier, we used to focus on literature, English poetry, Indian poetry, but the approach globally, no, global approach is being changed, and now the universities are thinking of integrating all the interdisciplinary, aspects with this English language. So accordingly, Shivaji University Kolhapur has taken a drastic decision, and they have included this paper number 3, that is literature and cinema, in which we people are supposed to analyze, understand, examine the relationship between the literature and cinema. In the primarily, I told you the world of literature, about the world of literature, about the function of literature, about the nature of literature, about the different branches of literature. And I told you that the cinematic adaptation has been there right with us is for the last many centuries. So from the early 20th century to this present times, there have been n number of works of art, particularly novels, dramas, which have been adapted into making a film. So this paper intends to make you understand the relationship between literature and cinema. We are going to have some technical aspect to be covered. We're going to learn the theories of adaptation, the theories of interpretation, which I have already shared to you through the Google Classroom. And there is one text, the artifact, the verbal artifact written by William Shakespeare, that we are going to enjoy. In one of the one of the webinars, I referred to Nasiruddin Shah yesterday, and during his interaction, he told that drama is not something to be read. Drama is something that to be watched. But here, as the students, we are supposed to read this particular play and try to see how this play has been made use of in making a cinematic production. Correct? So actually, drama is meant for performance. Drama is meant for, you can say, watching. Audience go to the theater, and this is how we define drama. So, drama is a form of literature that is designed for the theater, and the theater is a well-built. Prior to that, I told you the history of the theater. The first permanent playhouse, the first permanent theater in Europe, particularly in England, was constructed in the year 1576. It was named as the theater. And after that, many rival theaters were constructed, the Globe, the Swan, the Fortune. So these were the latter no, theatrical houses that were constructed in Europe. But the first permanent theater that took place or that was constructed in England was way back in 1576. And later on, when William Shakespeare went to England, he got associated with the Globe. So the Globe is a theater that William Shakespeare, now Shakespearean plays have been, you can say, performed. Means we had so many different theaters, but the Globe Theater was something that made use of the performance of plays of William Shakespeare. So Shakespeare was closely attached to that particular theater or theatrical company, and he had an active role. He used to provide the financial assistance to that particular theater group. So these are the fundamental things we already covered in the last couple of classes. So today we are going to concentrate on the text called Comedy of Errors. So William Shakespeare, prior to that, William Shakespeare, we learned that he happens to be the world's greatest dramatist of all the times. There have been so many celebrated playwrights that blossomed on this horizon of this world in the 16th century, 17th century, 18th, 19th, and even 20th century, 21st century. But among all these stalwarts, among all these dramatists, the name of Shakespeare has been a signature of authority. Even after the passing of around 500 years since his demise, his name, his work, his apprenticeship, his authority, his poetry, his drama, his dialogues, they have been the talk of the day today. And even today, globally, across the world, across the globe, many plays of Shakespeare are being adopted. They are being adapted. In one of the classes, I told you the differences between the two words, adopt and adapt. Adopt means something that you accept. Adopt. I adopt the nature. I adopt the good habit. Adapt. Adapt is something that you make use of in making something new out of. Adaptation and adoption. Adopt means something that you accept. Child adoption means the parents who do not have children, they go to the orphanage houses and they adopt children. They adopt child. So that is adoption. And adaptation is a process in which something is made use of in making something new out of. So here, William Shakespearean play is at our disposal. That is comedy of errors. It is the verbal text. It is a text. It is a drama. It is the early drama of William Shakespeare. In all his career, William Shakespeare has written 38 plays, along with some poetic compositions from 1564, 23rd April 1564 to 23rd April 1616. This is the lifespan of William Shakespeare. And the creative Shakespeare, we find him as a creative Shakespeare by 1578-79, when he left his native place, went to England, right, to make his bread and butter. And then he got associated with the theater, he got associated with the theatrical companies, and he started writing the plays. So the plays of William Shakespeare, right, they are categorized into different labels. The early plays of William Shakespeare, the early comedies of William Shakespeare, the historical plays of William Shakespeare, the tragedies of William Shakespeare, the romances of William Shakespeare, the latter plays of Shakespeare. So all these 38 plays of Shakespeare, they are categorized into this label. And this Comedy of Errors belongs to the early comedies of William Shakespeare. And since it is an early comedy, naturally we find a sense of imperfection. So we do not find Shakespeare as a perfect dramatist writing this particular play, because he was a beginner. When he went to England, he was just applied his imagination, applied his what you call the bent, artistic bent, into creating the new things in terms of plays. So when William Shakespeare started writing, we can't expect him to be a perfect dramatist. But as he nurtured his imagination, as he nurtured his craftsmanship, as he nurtured his writing skills, as he nurtured his philosophic bent of mind, we find him over the period of time, William Shakespeare getting more and more matured, more and more refined, more and more philosophic, more and more poetic, and more of a genius kind. So when we go through, or when we read, when we watch the greatest tragedies of the world, there have been n number of tragedies that have been written by great dramatists. Now, in the recent times, we have T.S. Eliot of the 19th century. We have Tolstoy. There are so many dramatists. But the name of Shakespeare has been a stamp and signature of authority. So those four tragedies, the greatest tragedies of Shakespeare, that is Hamlet, no, Othello. Shivani, you got any problem?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Just mute yourself. Okay. Comedy of Errors is an early play. Since it is an early play, we find Shakespeare applying his craftsmanship as an immature artist, as an immature writer. But this is something very amusing, very much what we call as a farcical play. There are different kinds of dramas which we have understood, right? So drama is a form of literature designed for the theater, in which the actors take the roles of the characters, they perform the action on the stage, and they utter the written dialogues. So this is how we have defined drama. And there are different types of drama: the comedy, the historical play, tragedy, comic play, farcical play, then tragic comedy, then romances, romantic comedy. So there are different varieties of dramas. And among all these varieties of dramas, comedy of errors is something is termed as a farcical play. So, a definition type, there are different types of drama. I have told you: comedy, tragedy, historical play, problem play. Now, comedy is something that we understand that the play, if the play ends up with the happy note, if the play ends with the resolution of all the problems, no, we term it as a comedy. But our perception of the word comedy does not tune with this particular definition of comedy, right? According to Aristotle, comedy is something that we need to understand that it does not create laughter, it does not evoke laughter, it does not evoke belly laughs. But the play, if the play ends with a happy note, with all the resolution of the problems being raised in the particular play, we term it as a comedy. Tragedy is a serious play that that ends up with the note of a certain disaster, something unexpected. In case of Hamlet, in case of Macbeth, in case of what you call King Lear, Othello, we find the end of a play is something unexpected from the audience perspective. It, they end up with the death of the protagonist. Othello is a protagonist, King Lear is a protagonist, right? Macbeth is a protagonist. So right from the beginning of the play till the end of the play, we find a series of incidents that make or that lead that protagonist to meet his doom, to their death. Historical play is a play that is based on the history of the life of a legend. Then, during those times that Shakespeare lived in, no, it was the age of dynasty. The kings and the queens were the rulers. So naturally, there was a kind of fashion among the writers to write a poetry, write dramas in an appreciation of those kings and queens. So historical play is a play that is based on the historical renderings of a legend. King William Shakespeare has written a couple of historical plays: King Henry IV Part 1, King Henry IV Part 2, Coriolanus, then Antony and Cleopatra. So these are some of the historical plays that William Shakespeare has written. Problem play. Problem play is the product of the 18th century Europe, because 18th century has witnessed industrialization, and industrialization has invited many problems to the society: problems of the workers, problems of unemployment, problems of women, problems of the orphanages, the problems of the sanitation. So those plays addressing, or they address the problems of the society, they are termed as problem play. And the greatest master who has initiated this genre of drama was Henrik Ibsen. He was a Norwegian dramatist. Henrik Ibsen. Doll's House is a particular play that we term it as the problem play, in which he raised the problem of the prostitution, right? Because in Europe, particularly even today, but in those days of the 18th century, so naturally the prostitution was considered something sinful. And as a sensitive artist, as a sensitive person, he raised the issue and he made the people think about those women who have been the victims of this prostitution. So, presenting the character called Doll's House, he made the audience, he made the people think, understand, realize the seriousness of the problems that women face because of the prostitution. So, these are some of the basic types of dramas which we have discussed. Attributes, the 3rd century stalwart, the disciple of Plato, Aristotle, has written the Poetics, in which he defined what is meant by tragedy, how a tragedy should be there, what are the dimensions of a tragic hero, what is meant by catharsis, how the tragedies affect us, how they affect us, our pity and fear, how do we relieve ourselves. So all of these theoretical understanding Aristotle has put in his Poetics. And there he talks about that every tragedy is built up of these 6 principles: plot, character, thought, diction, song, and spectacle. Means there cannot be a play, particularly tragedy, without these elements. which he calls the formative elements. Plot, he gives primacy to plot. Character, thought is there in the mind of the writer. Diction, the language in which that play is scribed. Song and spectacle. So these are song and spectacle are the choric elements. Okay, so these are what we have already seen that. Now, comedy of errors, something that is our concern. It is one of the Shakespearean early plays. When he went to England, he started applying his imagination by writing the plays. And this particular play belongs to the period or to the group of early plays. And this is also considered as one of the shortest and one of the most farcical comedies. There are something that I have put it as an underlined thing. It is the shortest one. In one of the contexts, I told you that in those days, in the 16th century, the plays used to be performed involving 24 hours. They used, they used the huge ground. They did not have a permanent playhouse. The permanent playhouse came into being 1576. Prior to that, the people used to go to the places, the grounds, where they used to sit around the ground watching the plays being performed in the center. So the farcical comedy is the comedy that does not appeal our mind, that does not make us think. It simply allows us to, or simply allows us for belly laughs. There are some plays that struck us. There are some plays that affect us. There are some plays that make us think. There are some plays that make us simply laugh and laugh and laugh. So farce, a farcical comedy. The farcical comedy is a comedy that evokes belly laughs. म्हणजे नाटकांचे अनेक प्रकार असतात. त्या अनेक प्रकारापैकी असा एक प्रकार की ज्या प्रकारामध्ये नाटक सुरू झाल्यापासून नाटक संपेपर्यंत आपण फक्त आणि फक्त दिले असल्या समोर असणारे कथानक, ते कॅरेक्टर्स, ऍक्शन बघून फक्त आपण हसत असतो. बेली लाफ, खदखदून हसतो. तिथे आपण डोक्याचा आपण वापर करत नाही. इट डझंट मेक अस थिंक, इट सिम्पली मेक अस फील अँड एन्जॉय. So it is the shortest of William Shakespeare's play, one of the most farcical comedies of Shakespeare, and the major part of humor coming from slapstick and mistaken identity. म्हणजे ह्या नाटकामधील जो विनोद आहे त्या विनोदाची गुंफण हे मिस्टेकन आयडेंटिटीच्या माध्यमातून झालेली आहे किंवा केलेली आहे. कारण ह्या नाटकामध्ये दोन ट्विन मास्टर्स आहेत, जुळे मास्टर्स आहेत, राईट, किंवा जुळे मालक आहेत, आणि दोन जुळे नोकर आहेत. म्हणजे दोन जोड्या आहेत, ट्विनची दोन जोड्या आहेत, एकसारख्या दिसणाऱ्यांची दोन ट्विन चला आपण म्हणतो. मिस्टेकन आयडेंटिटी. इन ॲडिशन म्हणजे विनोदाची गुंफण पण इट इज अ वर्ड प्ले, ज्याला आपण शब्दकोट्या म्हणतो. म्हणजे शेक्सपियरचं एक मोठं अस्त्र म्हणजे पण. ही लाईक टू प्ले ऑन वर्ड्स, ज्याला आपण पण म्हणतो. सो बिकॉज ऑफ ऑल ऑफ दीज literary characteristics, that particular play becomes farcical, most farcical play. One of only two Shakespearean plays to observe the Aristotelian principle of unity of time. Just a moment ago, I referred to Aristotle's Poetics. Aristotle talks about certain parameters of a tragedy, and there he says that a perfect tragedy is that which observes three unities. Number one, unity of action, unity of place, and unity of time. म्हणजे आपण एका आदर्श शोकांतिका कशाला मानायचं की ज्या शोकांतिकामध्ये तिन्ही प्रकारचे युनिटीज मेंटेन केलेले आहेत. युनिटी ऑफ ऍक्शन म्हणजे एक सूत्रता, युनिटी म्हणजे एक सूत्रीपणा. ऍक्शनच्या बाबतीमध्ये समजा एका नाटकामध्ये एका विषयापासून अनेक विषय असतील, अनेक डायग्रेशन असतील, तर ते काय होतं, that lead to misunderstanding, misapplication. So he bent upon the tragedies having three unities. Unity of action, There should be one action in the entire play. मॅकबेथचं उदाहरण घेतलं तर मॅकबेथ हा कसा ॲम्बिशियस असतो आणि त्या ओव्हर ॲम्बिशियसमुळे हाऊ ही मीट्स हिज ट्रॅजिक डेथ. दिस इज व्हॉट वी टू वॉच इन दॅट पर्टिक्युलर प्ले. ऑथेलोमध्ये Othello basically he is valorous, he is adventurous, he is a man of importance, he is a man of honor, he is a man of respect, but he has one trait, one weakness in his character. He is suspicion minded, and because of his suspicion mindedness, how he meets his tragic death we learn in Othello. So unity of action, unity of place. एखादं नाटक जेव्हा सुरू होतं आणि ते नाटक पुढे पुढे जात एका ठिकाणी संपतं तर त्या कॉन्टेक्स्टमध्ये दे शुड बी द युनिटी ऑफ प्लेस. द ॲक्शन शुड टेक प्लेस ॲट वन अँड द सेम प्लेस. दे शुड नॉट बी शिफ्टिंग ऑफ प्लेसेस. एखादं सीन एका ठिकाणी सुरू होतं, दुसरं सीन दुसऱ्या ठिकाणीच होतं. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ डायग्रेशन ऑफ प्लेसेस लीड टू मिस ॲप्लिकेशन अँड अकॉर्डिंगली युनिटी ऑफ टाईम means one particular play or the tragedy should begin at a particular point and it should end up in a particular time. म्हणजे this play, Comedy of Errors, maintains this unity of time. That is, the events of the day should occur over 24 hours. म्हणजे नाटक सुरू झाल्यापासून नाटक संपेपर्यंत ज्या ज्या गोष्टी घडतात त्या नाटकामध्ये त्याचा एकंदर घडण्याचा कालावधी हा 24 तासाच्या पलीकडे नसतो. 24 hours. And if the play maintained this, we can say that the play has maintained unity of time. Correct? So all these 38 plays of William Shakespeare, this is the play that maintains unity of time. म्हणजे आपल्या ह्या नाटकामध्ये कॉमेडी ऑफ एरर्स नाटकामध्ये अगदी 24 hours ज्या काही घटना घडतात तो एकाच दिवशी घडतात. All the action of the play Comedy of Errors take place in a single day, covering 24 hours. Adapted for opera, stage, screen, musical theater numerous times worldwide. म्हणजे 1595-96 दरम्यान लिहिलेलं हे नाटक आज देखील अनेक ठिकाणी जगामध्ये अनेक ठिकाणी अनेक देशामध्ये त्याला वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीने अडॅप्ट केले जातं. इट इज बिंग अडॅप्टेड ॲज एन ऑपेरा. ऑपेरा इज अ व्हेरी फेमस अँड व्हेरी मच लव्ड फॉर्म ऑफ म्युझिक अँड डान्स. ऑपेरा हे फ्रान्समध्ये युरोपमध्ये स्टेज, स्क्रीन, musical theater, and there have been numerous times the play has been adapted. In the centuries following the premiere, the play's title has entered the popular English lexicon as an idiom. म्हणजे हा जो नाटक आहे तो इतका नंतरच्या कालावधीमध्ये पॉप्युलर झाला that it has to be considered by the standard dictionary of English lexicon. म्हणजे आपण शब्द त्याला आपण काय शब्दसूची लेक्सिकॉन म्हणजे भाषेमध्ये असणारे शब्दसूची त्या शब्दसूचीमध्ये त्याचा समावेश करण्यात आला. कॉमेडी ऑफ एरर्स. व्हॉट इज मीन बाय दॅट? अन इव्हेंट. कॉमेडी ऑफ एरर्स हॅज बिकम एन इडियम. म्हणजे एक प्रकारचं म्हण झालेलं आहे. ऍक्च्युअली दिस इज द टायटल ऑफ द प्ले बट इट हॅज बीन सो पॉप्युलर ओव्हर द पिरियड ऑफ टाइम इट हॅज अटेन्ड the stature of an idiom, which means an event or series of events made ridiculous, hasyaspad, ridiculous by the number of errors that were made throughout. You getting me? Okay. The text and date. When this play, the text got published, to what was the date of publication, what was the source, because source is something that needs to be understood here, that almost all the writers of the world, ancient writers, 16th century Elizabethan writers, dramatists, all of these people, all of these creative artists, all of these creative personnel, they derive some sort of inspiration from their earlier masters. So William Shakespeare's Comedy of Errors also has some sort of, you can say, close, you can say, alignment, a modernized adaptation of Menaechmi by Plautus. Plautus happened to be the greatest, you can say, Greek dramatist, and he has written Menaechmi in Greece language. And that was something that William Shakespeare might have read, and he might have derived the idea from Plautus, Menaechmi. That Comedy of Errors is published in 1595. It was the date, and that play was dedicated to whom? Lord Hunsdon. Lord Hunsdon, the patron of the Lord Chamberlain's men. So this play was dedicated. William Shakespeare dedicated this play, Comedy of Errors, to Lord Hunsdon, who was the patron, Mukhia, patron, the head, the patron of Lord Chamberlain's men. This play contains a topical reference. या नाटकामध्ये काही ऐतिहासिक संदर्भ सुद्धा आपल्याला बघायला मिळतात. द वॉर्स ऑफ सक्सेशन, फ्रान्समध्ये झालेला जो वॉर ऑफ सक्सेशन चा रेफरन्स आपल्याला या नाटकामध्ये बघायला मिळतं, विच वुड फिट एनी डेट फ्रॉम 1589 to 1595. म्हणजे फ्रान्समध्ये 1589 ते 1595 या कालावधीमध्ये जो वॉर ऑफ सक्सेशन झाला, जे एक युद्ध झालं, त्याचा रेफरन्स आपल्याला ह्या नाटकामध्ये बघायला मिळतो. Now Charles Whitworth, one of the important critics, says that Comedy of Errors was written in the latter part of 1594. म्हणजे the play was written in the latter part, 1594च्या उत्तरार्धामध्ये हा नाटक लिहिला गेलेला आहे. This is what Charles Whitworth says about. On the basis of historical records, textual similarities, and the play was not published until it appeared in the first folio in 1623. It was written in the post 1594, but it was not published till 1623. You getting me? Yes. Now this play is set in Greek city of Ephesus. त्या नाटकामध्ये मी मगाशी सांगितल्याप्रमाणे it maintains unity of time. So all the happenings, all the action of the play take place covering or in a day, covering 24 hours. And what is the locale? What is the place? The place is a city called Ephesus. Ephesus नावाचे एक नगर आहे ग्रीक मधील, Greek city, Ephesus. And what does it tell? It tells us the story of two sets of identical twins. In this play, we have two sets. दोन जोड्या आहेत. जुळ्यांचा जोड आहे. Tells the story of two sets of identical twins who were accidentally separated at birth. म्हणजे या जोडगोळी ज्या आहेत, जोडगोळी आहेत, दोन पेअर आहेत. ह्या दोन पेअर जे आहेत ट्विनचे, दे गॉट ऍक्सिडेंटली सेपरेटेड. म्हणजे जेव्हा त्यांचा जन्म झाला तेव्हा त्या दोघांचं काही ऍक्सिडेंटमुळे ते एकमेकापासून लांब गेलेले आहेत. Antipholus of Syracuse. Syracuse is another place that is referred to here. There's just a reference. All the action take place at the city of Ephesus in Greek. ग्रीक मध्ये इफियस असणाऱ्या शहरामध्ये हे सर्व गोष्ट किंवा हे नाटक घडतं. परंतु देर आर सम रेफरन्सेस ऑफ सर्टन नेबरिंग टाउन्स that is called Syracuse. So Antipholus of Syracuse and his servant. Antipholus is the name of the master. Okay, there are two places, Ephesus, Syracuse. One pair of twins is living at Ephesus. Another pair of twins living at the Syracuse. तुमच्या लक्षात येते? Two pairs, twins, the pairs of twins living at two different places. One at Ephesus, another at Syracuse. So Antipolis of Syracuse and servant Dromio. Who is a Dromio? Dromio is the servant of the master. तो सुद्धा जुळा आहे. त्या सुद्धा एक जुळा भाऊ आहे. अँथोपोलिस सुद्धा एक जुळा भाऊ आहे. एफियस एक ठिकाण आहे. सायरॅक्यूज दुसरा ठिकाण आहे. And these two twins, pair of twins, are living at two different places. One at Ephesus, other at Syracuse. Okay, which turns out to be the home of their twin brothers, Antipolis of Ephesus and servant Dromio of Ephesus. So when the Syracusians encounter the friends and families of the twin, a series of wild mishaps based on mistaken identities lead to wrongful beatings. नाटकामध्ये अशी काही गोष्टी घडतात की ज्यामुळे एका गावामध्ये म्हणजे सायरॅक्यूज मध्ये असणाऱ्या जो ट्विन आहे, ट्विन पेअर आहे, ते अशा ठिकाणी येतात किंवा इफियस मध्ये येतात की ज्या इफियस शहरामध्ये ऑलरेडी त्यांच्यासारखे दिसणारे मास्टर आणि एक सर्वंट आहे. आणि ते तिथे आल्यामुळे त्या नगराचं कॅल्क्युलेशन बिघडतं. त्या नगरामध्ये मिसअंडरस्टँडिंग सुरू होतं. राईट, सिडक्शन असेल, मिसअंडरस्टँडिंग असेल, बीटिंग असेल, शिव्या देणं असेल, गोंधळ असेल. म्हणजे हे चारही जण एकाच ठिकाणी आल्यामुळे एक कन्फ्युजन क्रिएट होतं. आणि ते कन्फ्युजन इतकं व्हायलंट होत जातं नंतर नंतर की आपण ते बघत 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 आपण वी गेट सरप्राइज who is Antipolis of Syracuse and who is the Antipolis of Ephesus. And that's why I have given you a link. Google आपल्या क्लासरूम वर मी तुम्हाला एका चित्रपटाचा लिंक दिलेला आहे. That the film is called अंगूर. ते सुद्धा आपल्या अभ्यासाला आहे. ते तुम्ही ते चित्रपट 2.25 तासाचा चित्रपट आहे. तुम्ही आणि तुमच्या घरातील सर्वांनी तो एका ठिकाणी बसून बघा. I'm sure that you would definitely enjoy that particular film. अतिशय सुंदर आपल्या फिल्म इंडस्ट्री मधील एक नामवंत कवी आहेत गुलजार. त्यांनी हे चित्रपट निर्माण केलेला आहे, निर्मिती केलेली आहे गुलजार. त्या चित्रपटाचं टायटल आहे अंगूर. त्याची लिंक मी तुम्हाला पाठवलेली आहे. तुम्ही यूट्यूबवर बघू शकता, तुम्ही लॅपटॉपवर बघू शकता. त्याची लिंक मी तुम्हाला दिलेली आहे. आय जस्ट वॉन्ट यू टू ओपन दॅट लिंक अँड वॉच दॅट मूवी. इट इज द ब्युटिफुल अडॅप्टेशन of William Shakespeare's Comedy of Errors. If you understand that, you would understand Comedy of Errors. म्हणजे तुम्हाला लगेच रिलेट करता येईल. आता थोडंसं काय होईल, without watching that movie, actually what is expected here, we need to understand this play and then watch the movie. But we can take the other way around. You first watch the movie so that you can relate the characters by different names in this particular play. Right? So what I would suggest you, just open the Google Classroom, or even you can put on the YouTube search box and there you type Angur film. Then you have that film. Just open that link and watch the film for about 2 hours or 15 minutes. You would definitely enjoy it. अगदी ना ते चित्रपट सुरू झाल्यापासून ते शेवटपर्यंत तुम्ही फक्त आणि फक्त हसतच राहणार. Not only you, but you all people in the family sit together and watch the movie. त्यामुळे आज एक असाइनमेंट तुम्हाला देणार आहे. So something that you go, wherever you are, you try to make it larger than life, if possible, particularly on the television or on computer, so that you can enjoy thoroughly. कारण मोबाईलवर काही मर्यादा येतात, परंतु if you enlarge it, right, on the TV screen or your laptop screen, it would give you more pleasure. So I would advise you people, watch the movie today, enjoy the movie today, laugh at all those scenes of the movie, and then we'll apply that understanding in understanding this play, Comedy of Errors. So something that would definitely help you a lot. Now these are the characters. आपल्या ह्या नाटकामध्ये there are so many characters, but there are some leading characters. Solinus. Solinus is a duke. Duke, the king has appointed somebody to look after the affairs of the city. Is called duke. आपल्या भाषेमध्ये महापौर म्हणू शकतो. नगराध्यक्ष, नगराचा अध्यक्ष. Right? So Solinus is a duke of Ephesus. Aegeon. Aegeon is a merchant of Syracuse. Syracuse इथे स्थित असलेला एक व्यापारी आहे की ज्याचं नाव Aegeon. And who is this Aegeon? He is the father of Antipholus twins. Antipholus जे जुळे आहेत त्यांचे जे जुळे आहेत त्यांचे ते वडील. Aegeon. He is a merchant of Syracuse and father of the Antipholus twins. Emilia. Emilia, the Antipholus' lost mother, the wife to Aegeon. Antipholus of Ephesus, Antipholus of Syracuse, the twin brothers and sons of Aegeon and Emilia. Aegeon आणि Emilia यांचे दोन म्हणजे मुलं आहेत, ट्विन्स आहेत. त्यांचं नाव Antipholus of Ephesus, Ephesus मध्ये असणारा Antipholus आणि Syracuse मध्ये असणारा Antipholus, ही दोघंही ट्विन्स आहेत. Dromio. Dromio is the name of the servant and he is also the twin. He is also a pair of twins. And Dromio of Ephesus, Dromio of Syracuse. The twin brothers, the bondmen, each serving his respective Antipholus. म्हणजे आपले जे मास्टर्स आहेत त्यांना ते सेवा देत आहे, सेवेकरी आहेत. आपापल्या मालकाची ते सेवेकरी आहे. Adriana. Adriana, she is a wife of Antipholus of Ephesus. Ephesus मध्ये